Nobody told me the truth about what the first year in real estate actually looks like. Nobody told me about the weeks where nothing happens. Nobody told me about the exhaustion of working consistently, putting in hours that feel like they're going nowhere, wondering if you made the right decision. Nobody told me about the invisible runway, the period of time between when you start working hard and when the results actually show up. And I believe that gap, that invisible runway, is the reason why so many agents quit in their first year. Not because they weren't good enough, not because real estate wasn't the right career for them, but because nobody warned them it was coming. So they hit that stretch where the work is real, but the results aren't yet. And they think something is wrong. They think they made a mistake, and they walk away right before the momentum hits. Today, I want to tell you the truth about your first year in real estate. The things nobody talks about. The things I wish someone had told me. So that if you're in the invisible runway right now, you know exactly what it means and exactly what to do about it. My name is Scott Coomer. I'm a real estate team leader based in Arizona. Let's get into it. Let me start with what the real estate industry actually shows new agents before they get started. They show you the income potential. 6 figures, 7 figures, unlimited earnings. They show you the lifestyle, flexible hours, be your own boss, freedom. They show you the success stories. The agent who closed 40 deals in their first year. The team leader who built a business from nothing. What they don't show you, what almost nobody talks about, is the time and the work that came before all of that. They show you the highlight reel, not the footage that came before it. And here's why that matters so much. When you start in real estate with a highlight reel picture in your head, and then you experience the reality of those first few months, the gap between your expectation and your reality feels like failure. It isn't failure. It's completely normal. But without someone telling you that, it feels like failure. And that feeling is what drives agents out of the industry. Not the hard work, not the rejection, not the uncertainty, the gap between what they expected and what they experienced. So I want to close that gap for you right now. I want to tell you exactly what the first year actually looks like, so that when you experience it, you recognize it as the path, not as a sign that something has gone wrong. The single biggest thing that blindsided me in my first year in real estate was how much time and effort you have to put in before you get your first deal. Nobody talks about this. Nobody says, by the way, you might work hard every single day for 3 or 4 months and not close a single deal. That doesn't mean you're failing. That just is what the runway looks like. In almost every other job in the world, you work and you get paid. Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, you put in the hours, you get the paycheck. Real estate doesn't work that way. In real estate, you can put in hours for months before any money shows up. And that requires a completely different mindset than most people have when they start. I did 22 open houses my first 25 days in real estate. Think about that. 22 open houses in 25 days. That is not casual effort. That is an intense, disciplined commitment to the activity. And it still took 4 months before I got my first deal. 4 months of consistent, hard work before the first paycheck came in. But here's the thing that nobody told me. And that I want to tell you clearly right now. When the momentum finally hits, you get paid back for all of it. Every open house you sat that didn't convert, every lead you followed up with who wasn't ready yet, every Saturday morning you were setting up signs while your friends slept in, all of that effort that you were not getting paid for in the moment compounds into momentum. And once the momentum starts, the deals don't come one at a time anymore. By month 6, after 4 months of seeing nothing, I had 8 closings from open houses alone. 8 closings. The invisible runway did not mean the work wasn't working. It meant the work was building. Quietly, invisibly, until it had enough mass to break through. That is how real estate works. The runway is long, but the takeoff is real. And if you quit on the runway, you never find out what the takeoff felt like. The second thing nobody talks about enough is money. Specifically, how to survive financially during that invisible runway period. And here's the honest reality. Most new agents are not financially prepared for how long it takes to get their first paycheck. They got their license, they joined a brokerage, they started working. And they assumed the money would start coming in within weeks. And when it doesn't, the financial pressure starts to affect everything. It affects your mindset, it affects your confidence on calls, it affects whether you can afford to stay in business long enough to see the results. So here's what I wish someone had told me before I started. Have at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved before you go full time. Not 2 weeks, not 1 month, 3 to 6 months of runway. So that financial pressure doesn't force you out of the business before the momentum has time to build. Because here's the terrible irony of quitting too early in real estate. The agents who quit before they can't afford to keep going are often the agents who were 3 months away from everything turning around. They ran out of financial runway right before the business runway was about to take off. If you are already in the business and you're in that tight financial stretch right now, I want you to hear this. Find a way to extend your runway. Part-time work if you have to, reducing expenses, whatever it takes. Because the worst outcome is not having a slow first year. The worst outcome is quitting on the runway when the takeoff was right around the corner. The third thing nobody prepares you for is just how much rejection is part of this job. And I don't mean rejection in the dramatic sense. I mean the quiet, constant everyday rejection that accumulates over time. The open house visitors who say they'll call you and never do. The leads who go with another agent. The listing appointments where someone smiles, shakes your hand, and lists with someone else. The people in your sphere who you're expecting to use you who didn't. In most careers, rejection is an occasional memorable event. In real estate, especially in your first year, rejection is Tuesday. It's just part of the rhythm of the job. And if you haven't been warned about that, it can feel deeply personal, like you're doing something wrong, like you're not good enough. Here's what I want you to understand about rejection in this business. It is almost never about you. People make real estate decisions based on timing, relationships, fear, convenience. 100 different factors that have nothing to do with how good you are. Your job is not to avoid rejection. Your job is to generate enough activity that the conversions within that rejection is still build a business. The agents who succeed in real estate are not the agents who never get rejected. They are the agents who get rejected constantly and keep showing up anyways. Rejection is not a sign that the strategy isn't working. Rejection is just the price of doing business in an industry built on human relationships and big decisions. Accept it early, expect it, don't let it mean something it doesn't mean, and keep going. The fourth thing that surprises almost every new agent is how little their real estate education actually prepares them for the job. Your license course taught you real estate law. It taught you contracts, disclosures, fair housing, agency relationships. Important things, necessary things, but it does not teach you how to get a client. It did not teach you how to run an open house, how to build a database, how to follow up, how to have a listing presentation, how to handle objections, how to build a brand, how to generate referrals, how to actually build a business. That entire side of the career, that part that actually determines whether you make money or not, is almost completely absent from your pre-licensing education. So you show up on day one with your license in hand and almost no idea how to actually do the job. And here's what I want you to understand about that gap. It is not your fault, and it is not a reflection of your potential. It is just a reality of how this industry is structured, which means the agents who figure out how to fill that gap quickly are the ones who survive year one. And the agents who don't spend their first year learning by trial and error, which is an incredibly slow and expensive way to figure things out. This is one of the most powerful arguments for joining the right team as a new agent, because good teams give you the business education that your license course never did. Scripts, systems, processes, mentorship from agents who have already made all those mistakes. That is not a small advantage. That can be the difference between making it and not making it in year one. Whatever path you're on, make filling that education gap your top priority, because knowledge compounds just like effort does. And the faster you build your skills, the faster the momentum comes. The fifth truth about your first year, and the one I want to leave you with before the wrap up, is about mindset. And I want to be very specific about what I mean, because mindset gets thrown around as a fluffy concept, and I don't think it is. Most people think mindset means staying motivated, staying positive, staying excited. That's not what I'm talking about, because motivation comes and goes. Excitement fades. Positivity is hard to manufacture when nothing is working yet. What you actually need in your first year is not motivation, it's discipline. Discipline is doing the activity when you don't feel like it. Discipline is setting up the signs on a cold Saturday morning when you haven't closed a deal in 3 months. Discipline is posting the content when you feel like nobody is watching. Discipline is making the follow-up calls when you're tired and discouraged. Discipline doesn't require you to feel good, it only requires you to show up. And in your first year, showing up is literally everything. Because here's the thing about the invisible runway. The only way through it is through it. You cannot shortcut it. You cannot hack it. You cannot skip it. You can only outwork it. And the agent who outworks it, who stays disciplined within the months where nothing seems to be happening, are the ones who gets experience what happens on the other side. And the agents who outwork it, who stay disciplined through the months where nothing seems to be happening, are the ones who get to experience what happens on the other side. And what happens on the other side is this: the momentum comes. And when it comes, you get paid back for every single day you show up when you didn't feel like it. Every single one. Here's the honest picture of what your first year in real estate actually looks like, that nobody tells you before you start. Truth one, the invisible runway is real and it is long. You will work hard before you see results. That is not failure, that is the runway. Stay on it. Truth two, your finances will be tested. Have runway. Extend it if you need to. Do not let money force you out before the momentum arrives. Truth three, rejection is the job, not the interruption to it. Expect it. Don't let it mean something it doesn't mean. Keep your activity high and your conversions will come. Truth four, your license taught you the law, not the business. Fill the education gap as fast as you can. Find mentorship, join a team if you need to. The faster you build your skills, the faster momentum comes. Truth five, mindset is not motivation, it is discipline. Show up when you don't feel like it. The only way through the runway is through it. And here's the promise on the other side of all of that. When the momentum hits and it will hit if you stay consistent. You will get paid back for every single day you spend on that invisible runway. Every hour, every open house, every follow-up call, every piece of content you posted when nobody was watching. All of it compounds and all of it pays off. You just have to stay in long enough to collect. If you are in your first year in real estate right now, or you're thinking about getting into real estate and you want to understand what you're actually signing up for, I want to talk to you. Everything I just walked you through, the runway, the rejection, the financial pressure, the skill gap, all of it gets significantly easier when you have the right structure around the right team, the right mentorship, the right systems. I do one-on-one Zoom calls with agents at every stage. Brand new agents trying to figure out if you're on the right path, and agents in their first year feel like they're drowning and need someone to tell them honestly whether they're doing the right things. No pitch, no pressure, just an honest conversation with someone who has been exactly where you are. The link to book directly on my calendar is in the description below. Takes about 30 seconds to book a time that works for you. And if this video gave you something you need to hear today, subscribe to this channel. I post content every single week for real estate agents who want the truth about the business, not the highlight reel. I'm Scott Coomer. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.